Alex O'Connor debated meaning, purpose, and Christianity with three theists, and this conversation was fascinating. We've got to talk about it. Alex O'Connor is somebody that I really respect in terms of atheists and how they think, but when he had this conversation here, I was kind of surprised at some of the areas of Christianity, some of the critiques that he made that were unfounded, and others that were actually very well founded. There's parts of this discussion that I really appreciated, the points that he made, and then other parts that were just wrong. And I think that if I clear up this misunderstanding, it might help out the atheists who watch my channel, which are many. And so let's get into it. There's always been a conversation about meaning, purpose, and a lot of the times the argument for Christianity is, well, there is no meaning on atheism, there is no true meaning, and so therefore you have to devolve into nihilism. And Alex O'Connor is going to make a very interesting argument about this based off of a question that they were asked in a panel discussion.
From your more agnostic, atheistic standpoint, do you think there is purpose?
I don't know. Of course, I can't offer a comprehensive answer to that. If a 25-year-old atheist YouTuber could tell you what the meaning of life was, I'd feel a bit sort of shortchanged for everyone who failed to come to a conclusion themselves. I might have to bring up Pascal again. Pascal, I said this thing, I quoted Pascal recently on this question of meaning, and it seemed to be really popular. I think Pascal, he's maligned for the Pascal's wager thing. He should be remembered for so much more. He was asked to, he was considering the concept of boredom, and he imagined somebody who overcomes their boredom every day by gambling, and that's how they get rid of their boredom. He says, okay, well, imagine that you imagine you just gave the gambler all the money that he could win every day. You just gave him the money that he could have won playing the game. You'd make him unhappy, because that wouldn't alleviate his boredom anymore. Okay, says Pascal, imagine instead you allow him to play the game, but now he's not able to win the money. He just has to play the game. You'd also make him unhappy. So Pascal's like, what is purpose? It's something like like playing a game where you don't know if you're going to achieve the thing, and that thing sort of being in the future. This is why I think religion does it very well, by the way, to be quite pessimistic about religion, because religion is the definition of something which you don't have now. Think that when you have it, it will make your life better, and will be on a sort of constant striving and gamble as to whether you're going to get it or not. That's a bit like playing the gambling every day.
I really want to repeat what he just said about his framing of religion. This is so key to explain where we're not on the same page. What is religion in Alex O'Connor's mind?
Because religion is the definition of something which you don't have now.
Religion is the definition of something which you don't have now.
Think that when you have it, it will make your life better.
You think that when you have it, it will make your life better.
And will be on a sort of constant striving and gamble as to whether you're going to get it or not.
Okay, and it's a constant striving and gamble as to whether you're going to get it or not. So with the idea of the gambler, what he's saying is the appeal of religion is the journey. It's the journey of, am I going to make it to heaven or not? Am I going to be sent down to hell or not? Right? It's going to depend on what I do. It's going to depend on my actions, my choices. This is what Alex O'Connor is saying here. Is the appeal of religion is essentially that. Will I make it to heaven? Well, I better really buckle down, and this is my purpose in life. I better take this seriously, otherwise I won't make it to heaven. And wow, if I were to hear a Christian speaking about their relationship with God that way, that's that kind of mindset I want to run away from so fast. That is not what Christianity is. And so he's making an interesting argument here, but I think that he's starting already from a really bad framing of what Christianity is.
A bit like playing the gambling every day. The reason that works is because if it's true, then you find out, and if it's not, then you don't. So I think that I can't tell you what the meaning is, in other words, or what purpose is, but I can, if I try to give an analysis of what meaning means, of what the kind of thing is that people are talking about when they talk about meaning, I think they usually identify it with something like that. It's having a task to fulfill. That's why meaning and purpose are synonymous. What is purpose? Purpose is a reason to act. It's having a task to fulfill. That's why it's quite ridiculous, I think, when people say, I just create my own meaning. Well, you just create your own sort of task to fulfill for the sake of fulfilling a task.
Now, I hear that from atheists all the time, and it's nice to hear an atheist like Alex O'Connor say this, to say it is ridiculous, because I've had so many atheists tell me, You create your own meaning. That's just what you do. That is the most ridiculous answer ever. What they are saying is you just tell yourself that something matters when it really doesn't matter, and you know it doesn't matter, which is obviously far worse than what you claim that I'm doing as someone who believes that God exists. See, I actually believe that there is a God out there. I am not inventing the idea of a God so as to give my life meaning. I actually believe that there is a God that exists. And so therefore, what I am doing is far more rational than what atheists do, which is when they tell me. I just create my own meaning. I just decide arbitrarily that 2 or 3 things matter above everything else, and then I live based off of that. Again, that is actually insane, and I'm glad that Alex O'Connor is pointing that out.
I don't think that makes much sense, but I think that's why religion does it so well, not because religion is true.
I must say I find that an unrecognisably transactional view of religion, as if nothing.
Unrecognizably transactional is such a good way to point out how Alex O'Connor frames Christianity. That is not Christianity, unrecognizable, and it is transactional. The idea that Christianity is all about going to heaven is ridiculous, and I will talk about that towards the end of the video.
Nothing I now do is really in touch with anything, and I'm gambling on the future. I absolutely don't recognise it.
What is it that you think about believing in God, let's say, or believing in an afterlife, that imbues a life with purpose that it doesn't otherwise have?
I am my beloved, and I am my beloved's, and he is mine. The thing that I'm not waiting to see if I get something after I die. I have it now.
No, it's a relation.
Okay, I love that answer. I am not waiting, and even the quotation, I'm not waiting to see if I get something later on. I have it now. And this is the fundamental misunderstanding that atheists have, or a lot of people, even Christians sometimes have this fundamental misunderstanding. Christianity is not right now. It's all about what I got to do. So hopefully I can make it to heaven. That's what this is all about. I want to go to that place where everything's super comfortable and it's always a nice 72 degrees and it's perfect. No, it's not about I got to get to heaven. I got to get to no, it's about now. I'm actually living the dream now. This is something I preach a lot at the Seagoville Church of Christ, where I'm the preacher. If you are a Christian, you are living the dream now. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. You see, I am living in this goodness of God today. I'm living in the beautiful relationship, the fellowship with him today, and I will also have that as well. But the idea that right now, the only thing that's going for me in my life is that hopefully if I do everything right, I'll make it to heaven, or if I do enough right, I'll make it to heaven. No. I am living in heaven right now, in the sense that what is great about heaven? It is fellowship with God. I have that now. What is great about heaven? That's where all God's people are going to be. I have that now. I have the church. I have a relationship with God now. I am living the dream now. So the idea that Christianity is about, well, you got to hopefully you do enough right so that you can go to heaven. No. My purpose, my overall purpose as a Christian is not making it to heaven, making it to that place. My purpose as a Christian is to glorify God, and that is my only purpose as a human being. It is for the greater glory of God, and I get a fellowship, I get a love, a relationship, a grace-filled, loving relationship with God as I do all those things. But make no mistake about it, my purpose in this life is the glory of God, which is something that I get to do now, fellowship with God, which I get to have now, love, which I get to experience now, and that is only amplified later on. But I'm living the dream now.
Relationship that exists in
and the thing is, I completely understand why it sounds like madness, but...
So if you could have that relationship...
I love this. Recently, theists have started to do this more. They acknowledge, I get why this sounds crazy, believing in God and all of that. I totally grasp it. I respect when people are atheists. I respect the fact that they are, because I see how crazy it is to believe in a God, especially if that's not something that you're used to hearing. I get that. But at the same time, it's much more reasonable.
Relationship now.
I understand why it sounds like madness, but...
So if you could have that relationship now...
I have this relationship now.
But life ends at death. There is no afterlife.
I would choose it again and again and again.
You might choose it, but would you still have a problem of nihilism? Would you still have this question that while you're alive, there are religious traditions which don't believe in an afterlife. They still believe in a personal relationship with their creator, but at death it ends. to me, that still carries the problem of nihilism. What is this all for? It just
Okay, so this is so fascinating to get into the head of Alex O'Connor here on this. He asked them the question, if there were no afterlife, if there were, let's just posit that there is no afterlife and that once Christians die, they just die. They're gone, like everyone else is gone. It just, like a light switch turns off, that's it. Would anything change? And they say, no. We would choose God again and again and again in this life. This version of me would choose God again and again and again. Nothing would change. And he goes, all right, hold on. But wouldn't that devolve into nihilism? Wouldn't that cause you to think to yourself, like, then what is the purpose? If this life is all there is, then what is the purpose at all? There is no meaning. There is no purpose. And that is so fascinating to me. He doesn't understand. And if you're an atheist, I really want your thoughts about this. With all humility, I ask this question. How is it so difficult to understand the idea that in the Christian belief system, God is deserving, worthy of worship, number one, but number two, the blessings of a life lived for God are not contingent on eternity in order for those things to stop being blessings. God has enriched every aspect of my life, and those things are disconnected from whether or not I will live, I will have eternity and not annihilation after I die. Again, if I say that there is no eternity, this is still the greatest life I could have ever lived. One, because of its purpose, what it accomplishes, which is God's glory. But number two, it's God's blessings. God has given me the greatest life. But again, even when I put what I get aside, objectively, I can still say God deserves glory and worship, and so therefore it is always going to, eternity or not, be the right choice to choose him again and again and again, if I think about it in terms of him or selfishly in terms of me. In all fairness, there are a lot of religious people that if you ask them, why do you serve God? They'll say, I want to go to heaven. And please understand that's technically not wrong, but at the same time, it is not right. Because there is a much better answer, which is, why are you a Christian? I love the God who loved me first. He is holy, 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 worthy of all glory and honor forever and ever. And so therefore, I will live for him. The idea is very well illustrated with Job, for example. If God takes away all the blessings, now what do? Do you devolve into nihilism? Job's wife did. But the one that we know was correct in this, consistent in this, was Job, who says, whether the Lord gives or takes away, blessed be the name of the Lord. That is the right way to think about this. So it's so fascinating to see how fundamental the misunderstanding is about what Christianity is. And I think part of this is because Alex O'Connor has seen the way Christians talk about Christianity, but that is definitely not Christianity. And I think almost any Christian, if not every Christian, could agree with me here. If you're a Christian, let me know what you think about this. If you disagree or agree with me, I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, consider supporting on Patreon. God bless you, and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.